What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sistas. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sisters fans, I ain't gonna lie. I almost forgot how damn catchy that theme song was because I was editing the video and I'm like, hey, my girls hold me down. You can tell I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. It's currently 3:30 a.m. and recording videos because dang it, this is the last one I need to do before they decide to release any clips from tonight's new episode of Greenleaf. But without further ado, you know the drill. Crystal Lee Naomi just told you, and you don't want to get on Jasmine's bad side because she'll destroy your car, pour your dead parents' ashes into the gas tank of the vehicle, and wail on you with a baseball bat. And trust and believe, you don't want that. Unless you do, because it's your kink and you're a little freaky. But who am I to judge? So make sure you follow Crystal Lee Naomi on social media. I will leave links to her Twitter and Instagram in the top comment and pin it to the top. So make sure you follow her and show her some love because she did an amazing job with the promo for my sister videos. And to show me some love, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Now, no need to harp on this because look, it's July 14th. And if you haven't heard by now, I don't know where you've been. But the Red Table Talk, honestly, the first and only episode I've ever watched that series between Will and Jada came out. And the word of the day, the word that was trending for about 24 to 48 hours. So many memes, so many videos, so many parodies. Entanglement. A lot of people like me were like, you know what? If it was Will in the hot seat, like if the roles were reversed, there's no way in hell a man, not just Will, but just a man in general could get away with trying to be slick with the smooth talking. No. First of all, I don't even think it would have just been Will and Jada. It would have been like the whole crew grilling Will like a burger at a cookout during the 4th of July. So using these fancy $5 words like entanglement and healing and all, no, they would have made him call it for what it was. However, I did some research, and entanglement actually was very relevant to the August and Jada situation. And look, I know the title of this video might seem like a joke and whatnot, not necessarily clickbait, but more of a comedic factor. You know what? I hope they're able to work things out because, you know, I'm not trying to judge their marriage or partnership or whatever they call it because it doesn't involve me, you know? But at the same time, it's in the public eye now and everybody's talking about it. But I found it relevant to this video because kind of like my Instagram post from yesterday, I said, I honestly thought I was done with sister videos until we got a new promo or something like that for season 2, which they are currently filming at Tyler Perry Studios. And no, Tyler Perry, I'm not bitter I wasn't invited because I know you're all are practicing social distancing. But maybe you'll write me in season 3. All I'm saying is... Entanglement, one of the definitions is a complicated, wow, I don't even think I said it right, a complicated or compromising relationship or situation. And to be completely honest, Jada was actually correct. I did love how Will was like, so Jada, this is your red table and you called yourself up here. I need you to clearly tell me what happened between you and August. And she buckled down when she said entanglement, like, yeah, an entanglement. So an entanglement, a relationship. And basically Will basically got it to the point where she said relationship. She didn't cover up the situation with the word entanglement, but she said it in a way which was clear to everyone, which was relationship, which reminded me of the very, I don't even know if entangled is the right word for whatever the hell Jasmine and Gary had going on Sistas, but you should definitely check out my video talking about a spin-off series starring Jasmine. But even though it was a theory video that was talking about a Jasmine spin-off, it definitely would encompass a lot of the other characters, such as Morris, Gary, Leslie, I believe was the PI's name, and please forgive me if I forget the character's name. The show's been gone for a while, and I've been reviewing other shows in the meantime, so I'm pretty sure it was Leslie, Gary, Morris, and Andy. But the point of that spin-off series would be to show us the things we never saw in the Sistas series. And no, you're probably thinking, well, Jeremy Crystal Lee did the promo and you're no, I'm not biased. It's damn good storytelling. I need some water. But in any case, I think that the one thing missing from Sisters were the scenes where Gary would go back to his home and talk with Jasmine and give her the engagement ring. It's like it was a prime example of Tyler Perry telling us but not showing us the interactions between those two characters. I mean, hell, it was like damn near halfway through season 1 before we even got a scene with Jasmine and Gary together. And then he threw her off a garage, but then again, she had it coming. But in any case, I think that the entanglement of I can't even say it with straight face, I'm tired. The entanglement of Gary and Jasmine was just incredible to watch when you compare it to the Will and Jada thing, because when it comes to that situation, I know that I watched a bunch of like YouTubers and podcasts that were talking about the Red Table Talk. And look, again, I'm not trying to judge the marriage, but there was one line that Will said about, oh, I'm going to get even with you. And Jada was like, oh, no, I think we're already even, which kind of, it, again, I don't know these people. I think it's fair to, and I hate to use the word assume, but I think they've both had their side pieces. I'll leave it at that. So it's almost like people talk about Will being upset, Will being hurt, but it's like, again, this is like the public eye. So it's like it's definitely a multiplication of dealing with it behind closed doors. And the reason I compare Gary and Jasmine to Will and Jada is because Gary is an athlete. I theorized that he was a basketball. Wait, what was Alonzo? Was he a football player or basketball player? I want to say basketball. Again, the show, I got an entire playlist of sister videos, guys, with theories, episode reviews, trailer breakdowns, and discussions. So you can fact check me by going back to any of those. But I theorized that whatever sport that Alonzo played, maybe him and Gary were either on opposing teams or the same, or basically they knew each other from the athletic world. And I was thinking that, Jasmine mentioned that she has a lot of friends and connections within the news or broadcasting world. So what if she was like a sports announcer or something like that, or worked at a news station, and then she went to a game, and then that's how she met Gary, and I mean, I'm just saying, you never know. So it's almost like Will is the star. Jada has success, but Will is the one who shines brightest. Yes, Red Table Talk is a smash, but Will Smith is like, Will Smith. Even if you don't have Jada by his side, Will Smith is a recognizable, brand. Not to say Jada Pinkett Smith isn't, but I'm just saying Will Smith is the bigger one out of the two, kind of like Gary and Jasmine, where Gary, whatever the hell sport he plays, is a recognizable person. And I think you could say that Andy is arguably even more recognizable than Jasmine due to the fact that she had a lot of printouts given to everyone in the police station about, hey, this is the whore that stole my husband from me. Yeah, I remember she did that. But all I'm saying is, people talk about the hurt of Will, and it's like, the one thing that clicked in my mind when somebody said that on the podcast is why I'm doing the video. Somebody was like, it's kind of messed up. People say Will's hurt, but what about him if he was messing around with a woman? And it's like, no. The guy was like, the thing about men, the funny thing, like men could like sleep around with like 20 different women. But if their girlfriend, wife, or whoever, if the female in the relationship sleeps with one guy, I can't believe you hurt me like this. And the reason this video came into existence is because I remember when Andy told Gary, I went to speak with Morris. He dropped the charges, and then he answered the phone. Jasmine was there, and hang on. Andy made Morris call Jasmine on the spot, and when she picked up, she's like, "Hey, baby," boom. and Gary was ready to start a fight. And it's like, wait, she cheating on me? And I'm thinking to myself, Gary, you're literally staying in the apartment of the woman you're cheating on your wife with, and you have the nerve to get pissed off because you were told that Jasmine has been cheating on you. Entanglement, baby. Entanglement. I mean, Jasmine and Gary's complicated relationship. I mean, Leslie just threw down the facts. The fact that Jasmine and Gary have been, and Morris have been conspiring for about, a year or so now in their affair. So it's almost like when you look at Will and Jada, and they said they were like separated because they were literally about to call it quits, and then that's when she hooked up with August. I think it's safe to say Gary was probably cheating first, and then when Jasmine got wind of that, that's when she started to draw closer to Morris, who's a manipulator, an addict, and an abuser. So I don't know exactly who was the one who was healed in this situation, because I think it's safe to say the Jasmine, Gary, Andy, Morris, and Leslie on the side dynamic is much more complicated than the Will, Jada, and August situation. But you could make the argument, well, Jeremy, there's still a lot of things from behind the scenes we probably don't know about the Will and Jada thing. I agree with that. But when it comes to the Jasmine and Gary entanglement, I think one reason they're so entangled is the fact that they're trying to get one up on the other. It's almost like, what's that thing they always say, like, the person who breaks up with the other person first wins? I wouldn't know, because I've always been rejected and the person broken up with, so I've never had the urge to pull the trigger. Yes, I watched Hamilton for the first time 2 days ago, and all I think about is the ridiculousness of duels. Oh, you insulted me, sir? 10 paces. And then one of us died. Nowadays, people sell that in Twitter debates. Yeah, it's pretty stupid how things turn out. But at least in Twitter feuds, you trend, even if it's for a ridiculous reason. But when you look at the Gary and Jasmine thing, okay, so apparently there was no prenup signed, and no, I don't know if Will and Jada had a prenup. So Gary wanted to hook up with a lawyer, Andy, and apparently use her to help get out of his marriage without giving Jasmine that much money. But then you have Jasmine, I believe Leslie said Jasmine is only still in the marriage because of the good money, but she and Morris have been conspiring to set Gary up for a fall. And even though the finale was definitely jaw-dropping, we kind of got a lot just dumped on our plates because embezzlement, like money laundering, basically that the feds like gave freaking Andy a laundry list full of different crimes and tax evasion and whatnot. And apparently he had a first wife. Crap. I forgot about that. There's another player. Apparently, Gary had a wife before Jasmine. So, an entanglement is more like, it's not an entanglement. It's a ball of yarn. That I feel like that is the Gary and Jasmine marriage as a whole. Because when you think entanglement, all I think about is like, oh, my headphones got tangled up when they were in my pocket. But I think of like, the entire dynamic of Gary and Jasmine being a yarn ball. Ball of yarn, just an entire, because if I'm not mistaken, if like you take a ball of yarn and drop it and then it just rolls until it's like literally just a big long piece of string which isn't balled up, that's pretty much Gary and Jasmine's marriage. It's almost like in episode 1, the ball of yarn got knocked off of a desk and then it started rolling, and then eventually it'll get to the point where the ball is no longer a ball but just a long piece of string. I think that's Sistas in a nutshell. The entanglement, or should I say the de-entanglement or the untangling of the Jasmine and Gary. That's the funny thing, where Jasmine and Gary's marriage is definitely a catalyst for most of the show, yet they aren't the main characters, where it's Andy, Sabrina, Karen, and Danny. Not a complaining thing I'm talking about. It's just the dynamic of that's why we need a spin-off series. Boom. Look, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's Untangled. There you go. I just gave you a show. Like I already did a video about Tyler Perry's I Don't Want to Be Right. Seriously, I should get a job doing that stuff. Like that would be great. But I mean, when you think about it, Gary's first wife kind of reminds me of Will. Wasn't he married and then he had a first son? It wasn't Jaden or Willow, but he has like an oldest son from his first marriage / relationship. So that's pretty much Gary and his first marriage. The wife we don't know about. We know she's there now, but we never seen or heard of her. Kind of like Will's oldest son. So there you go. Sistas is actually the Smith family in action. Tyler Perry wrote it. We're just finding out about it due to the Red Table Talk. And yeah, so the question is Morris the August of the situation? Because when you think about it, you know, Jada hooked up with August. August fell in love thinking that, you know, him and Jada were going to be together because of the separation. But then Jada decided to work things out with Will. And now August is like, you know, doing his tell all. Where on the other hand, Andy is kind of like the side piece that, you know, I'm still confused about where Andy stands in all this. Like, you know, apparently at first it's like, oh yeah, Andy's going to help Gary get out of his marriage due to him not having a prenup. But then it's like, oh, Gary used Andy as a scapegoat to transfer some money. And then it actually got unearthed by the FBI. So, yeah. Maybe I should have wrote a diagram before doing this video. Either way, I think this is fun. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you think things will become untangled in season 2 of Sistas, which is being filmed right now? And no, I have no behind the scenes information. I mean, technically I do about new characters, but I haven't read through it yet because I got to finish my taxes within the next 24 hours. So I ain't got to deal with the feds like Gary. But thank God, you know, I'm almost done. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. We ride together, we die together. Bad marriage for life. But then again, who came out on top? You know, you got Gary being arrested, but then you have Jasmine in the hospital bed. And to be honest, I don't think she'll be out of the hospital anytime soon because she fell off a effing garage on the 3rd level onto a car. But then again, this is Tyler Perry land where people come out of the hospital in less than 2 episodes after a deadly injury. Wording is hard, guys. So, without further ado, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on Patreon, PayPal, or Cash App. I'd really appreciate it. Not mandatory. And yeah, be sure to check out my Jasmine spinoff video. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on the entanglement that is the Jasmine and Gary marriage. And without further ado, oh yeah, that's right. They have kids. I forgot they have kids. Wait, how many kids? I know their son is autistic. Do they have 3 kids? Yeah, I should have done the research. It's been a while. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.